everyone, and welcome back to the Wretched Wrestling Podcast.
Wretched!
Episode 33. We are
Trace.
approaching the road to WrestleMania, and the first stop on the road to WrestleMania is the Royal Rumble, which is in 2 weeks.
The first piss stop in a road trip.
And
the Royal Rumble.
So we've been talking about the Royal Rumble for the last couple weeks. That seems to be the main topic of discussion going into this week's episode. But I mean, I think we should just instead let's push the Royal Rumble aside for a second and let's talk with the announcement that came, of course, the day after we released our last podcast episode.
Thanks, WWE.
Always releasing shit on Sunday mornings. Thank you.
I swear they listen to us secretly. I swear to this. You had your theory on Raw that the last episode, 32, was called Royal Rumblings, and then Big E used that phrase.
He did say Royal Rumblings.
Did he not?
And he even made a little, joke.
WWP. Craig Dixon and Fred.
I'm a little annoyed about that, but I digress.
Give us credit.
So let's talk about the big news that leaked on Sunday morning, and then they announced it on Monday night, on Monday Night Raw, is that we have our
prematurely leaked.
Fred knows all about premature and leaking.
Not anymore. No. Anyway, the announcement.
The announcement is that Kurt Angle,
30 in.
your Olympic gold hero with a broken freaking neck, is going into the WWE Hall of Fame as their headliner this year. I could not be happier.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
It's damn true?
It's true. It's damn true.
It's damn true. Very cool.
He has
awesome, baby.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and he's top 5 for me, possibly top 3 for me.
Me too.
I don't even know who number 3 would be, so he's top 2 for me. He's definitely right after Chris Jericho for me all time.
Right.
That's my top 2. So I'm very happy that Kurt Angle is going to have a relationship with WWE going forward.
Thank God. Thank God. It's been way too long.
Just
11 years.
Video they played, and I just remember every single moment of that, because he's one of the guys that you've watched from the very beginning, because he was around during the Attitude Era, but he wasn't like a guy who was like Bret Hart, who was around in like the early 90s, and you're like, maybe I don't remember the first couple of years of his career.
Right.
And the same thing with Stone Cold. Kurt Angle joined WWE in 1998, I want to say?
99. He came in, and and then he pretty much, within a year's time, he won many titles, including the World Championship, which is something that wouldn't happen nowadays. But back then, that did not happen.
No, Stone Cold was a guy who never had any prior pro wrestling training at all. He just went right to the WWE from amateurs, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much took Triple H maybe 3 years since he started in 1996 to become world champion.
Right, and he had all those crazy stupid gimmicks as well. Kurt Angle was the same gimmick from day one to day now, and it just an incredible run he had. So kudos to Kurt on an obviously overdue induction. Now this is the other part of this. So now that they finally have their first working relationship with Kurt Angle since 2006 when he quit WWE.
Right.
Where does this go? Is this it for him? Is he just going in for the Hall of Fame, or is he going to be like Sting and he's just going to get that itch again? He's going to hear that crowd reacting to him.
Well, here's my thing. I don't know if he's even I don't think he's medically cleared. He has the itch. Not that itch, but he does have the itch. And he's always had it. He'll wrestle he will literally die in the ring if he if they give him the option.
Right.
You're like, this is your last match, you'll die afterwards. He'll be like, okay.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
You're going to take a bullet in the ring against Brock Lesnar. Okay.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, he just loves the wrestling business. I mean, I think he's broken his neck twice in his life. I mean, once was in pro wrestling, one in amateur. I mean, the guy's a freaking machine, the wrestling machine.
He is a wrestling machine.
And he deserves every bit of praise that he gets, and I'm really, really happy for this.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just there's so many people that talked to that don't watch wrestling anymore, but they're super excited and they've heard that Kurt Angle's in the Hall of Fame. So
it's big news.
It's just a testament of the type of character and wrestler he is. You know,
he was in it and he was on top of his game during like the wrestling boom as well. Like everybody always talks about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody always talks about The Rock. Everybody always talks about The Undertaker. But like
Triple H, the list goes gone.
Even Triple H, to like a lesser extent. But yes, like, and that's why people think about the Attitude Era. But like I feel like Kurt Angle doesn't get his rightful due for that, his role in that era, because he was definitely number 4 or 5 of those guys, but without him, there's a lot of things that don't happen. Like,
oh no, definitely not.
I mean, he had classic matches. I mean, what's your top 5 favorite? Like, let's do like top Kurt Angle moments. We might as well talk about them.
Because
I'm gonna throw one right at the bat. I love the WrestleMania main event with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19. One of my favorite WrestleMania main events of all time.
That was a crazy moment in wrestling and his career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go into sorry to cut you off.
No, just it was a great match. 2 technical wrestlers. They played a really good technical match. And, of course, Brock Lesnar fucked up the shooting star press at the end of the match. But, I mean, that didn't deter the match at all. It was a fucking phenomenal match. And people thought Kurt wasn't going to be able to wrestle in that match.
I was just going to say that.
Because he had a broken neck. And, like, there was thoughts that he could be out for, like, 6 months. And he fucking wrestled, and he put on a fucking clinic with Brock Lesnar, one of the best WrestleMania main events of all time. And it was unbelievable. I still kind of, am, like...
I can watch that match any day.
I can watch that match, any fucking moment.
The other match that I can watch any other day, and I know that's not part of the Attitude Era, I kind of wanted to go into that a little bit because he had some classic matches, but my God, I can watch any day Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle at Royal Rumble 2003. I believe we were watching that.
Yes, we were. At Mike's house.
At our friend Mike's house, and if unfortunately memory and history goes, they had to follow that god-awful Triple H versus Scott Steiner
match.
Champion.
Oh my God. 2 of the most
Wretched.
polar opposite matches of all time. You have one of the all-time best technical wrestling matches of all time, and then you have one of the worst matches in wrestling history, right? Followed each other on the same fucking card. What a fucking show that was.
It's like Steamboat and Savage, and then like before that was like
Jackie Gata
versus Honky Tonk Man.
I don't remember that one.
The greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Oh man. Other Kurt Angle moments, just like I'm throwing them off the bat. I love the
Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon.
The triple threat match he had early in his career with Chris Jericho, and was it Eddie Guerrero or it was Eddie Guerrero, right? Or is it Benoit?
Benoit. WrestleMania 2000.
Oh right. Yeah.
With he had 2 championships at the line, the IC and the European.
Right. Jericho won the European, and Benoit won the Intercontinental title. Yeah. But that was just a great triple threat match, and unfortunately, that was like the biggest high-profile match he had with Chris Jericho. He never really had a feud with him after that.
Because Benoit and Jericho pretty much went on their own feud after that.
Right.
And then he went on to bigger and better things.
Right, and then they were always on separate shows. Kurt Angle was always on SmackDown, Jericho was always on Raw, so their paths never crossed again. So, that it's still one of my favorite matches because it's 2 of my favorite guys of all time. If you throw Benoit in there, who was one of my favorite guys of all time, we don't want to talk about that. Of course, him and Shane McMahon at the King of the Ring. He fucking belly to belly suplex Shane through the fucking glass. Oh my God,
that's a testament to Shane McMahon in itself. But Kurt Angle definitely was all on top of that match. Yeah. But they still show highlights of that of him going through the glass.
Yeah,
like any video.
That's one of the best visual things they've ever done. Like visually pleasing. That is an unbelievable spot that they pulled off.
And they even still had other spots which they don't even show, like doing the angle slam on a table that was set up on the ring, on the top of the ring, and doing an angle slam off the top of it. I mean, but you always see Shane McMahon going through the glass, and that's just that is one of those moments, you
just never forget those
moments. Falling, getting thrown off the Hell in the Cell. It's one of those moments they'll always show in a video.
Another one of mine was he had a steel cage match. I want to say it was against Chris Benoit, and he did a moonsault off the top of the rope and he missed it. And, like, I think he, like, separated his shoulder when he landed. I never will forget watching these moments live on, like, SmackDown or whatever, taped on SmackDown. I would be like, holy shit, this guy is fucking amazing. Wasn't that they used to do the Creed videos? What was it?
Yeah. My
Man. Yeah, that was definitely one of them.
That would always be on it. You were just like, holy shit!
Even lesser moments that people like that weren't like his thing, like not his first WWE title win, not those moments we just spoke about, like just like one of those smaller moments that you might not even remember. I remember watching Armageddon 2002, the last pay-per-view of 2002. 2002 was a very weird year in wrestling.
I remember Shawn Michaels and Triple H had that match for the title
in that at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it was
they had a 3 stages of hell match.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember. What happened on that one for
okay, so if you remember what happened with the WWE title at the time, Brock Lesnar won the title at SummerSlam from The Rock. Then he lost it like randomly to the Big Show Survivor Series, and everybody was like, "What the fuck happened?" And then it was like 2 or 3 months of Big Show being the fucking champion, and nobody was fucking digging it at the time. And then Lesnar got hurt. So they had a singles match between Kurt Angle versus Big Show at Armageddon. This is what I was getting to. And I just happened to order this pay-per-view. I didn't order a lot of pay-per-views at that age of my life. I just didn't have the money. I didn't
like $50 a pop while we were in college.
If nobody really wanted to watch it, then you were footing all the money yourself.
Remember when we had to invite as many people as we could just to chip in, all right, you owe 10, you owe 10.
Remember Kristen? She mentioned The Rock once. Let's invite her. She's like, what's The Rock?
That was back in the day, sorry to cut you off, man, but I was back in the. I kind of miss those. I mean, trust me, I love the network getting it for $9.99 a month, but
it's great. Yeah,
to get every single pay per view I want.
Yeah, but there was something about chipping in, and then everybody was in there.
Girlfriend, now wife at the time, making snacks for us.
You said that backwards.
What? Fuck.
My wife, my girlfriend at the time. Yeah, we were married back then, but we just had to take it slower now. I did? Oh, yeah, I did.
We love each other so much, we're now girlfriend and boyfriend.
Right. Yeah, we're going steady now.
Did you give her your varsity jacket?
Not yet. We should. Yeah, that's second base.
Oh, okay.
So
anyway, for that one.
It's just it was a random pay-per-view that I ordered with my friend Angelo, of all people.
Oh, Angelo!
We were the only ones watching it, and I remember. So it was Angle. I didn't think Angle was going to win because I thought ultimately Big Show was going to lose the title to Brock Lesnar again because they were still feuding, but Lesnar was hurt,
just holding the title.
Right, Lesnar had a leg injury, so he couldn't wrestle, and then Kurt won the fucking title that night, and I fucking marked out like crazy because I didn't think it was happening, and Kurt Angle had been a heel most of the year, and then they kind of just made him a face for this show, and he won the title. Because they had to, and then he fucking won, and then of course he went on to the feud with Brock Lesnar, and led to that WrestleMania match we spoke before. It's just, I love Kurt Angle. He's one of my favorite of all time. I'm so happy he's in the Hall of Fame.
It's funny you bring up the Big Show now, because now that you got my the wheels spinning in my head, now the Excedrin's kicked in. Also, go back to 2000, Kurt Angle and Big Show had a hilarious match as the Big Show dressed up as Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
This was this little weird phase where he was imitating people.
Right.
And he came out, I don't know if it was Open Challenge. I don't think it was Open Challenge.
What did he call himself? Showmania or something?
Oh God, what the hell did he call himself now? Something along those lines.
I think it was Showmania, right?
Maybe Factual Josh Peck will help us out on that one.
Yeah, where are you, Josh?
Yeah, Josh, come on now. But I mean, I just remember that being one of the highlights of the Backlash 2000. It was which was back then it was great, but great matches were happening.
I think I have that.
Oh my God,
I think I have that on the VHS tape.
It's such an underrated moment because there's been so many great Kurt Angle moments in life, and it's one of the least. But I think his big program that got him into the main spotlight was his feud against Triple H with Stephanie in the Love Triangle.
Right.
Kind of overlooked nowadays, but
definitely was
considering all the accolades he's had over the years. But that really put him. I think that put him on the map, though. That was
he started his career as a comedic heel, and then he just gradually pushed that aside and just became like a technical wrestler who thought he was better than everyone. So
yeah,
but that worked perfectly for him. It was a great gimmick. So we talked about our feelings on Kurt Angle. We talked about like our favorite memories, but
of course.
Now the door is open. He's got that in now. So his foot's in the door. He's going to make an appearance at WrestleMania, of course. He'll be there for WrestleMania weekend to get inducted. I'm sure he'll be at the WrestleMania the next night to get an ovation in front of the crowd. Now, does he come back? What does he do now? Does he make an appearance in front of the live Raw crowd, which is something I'd like to see, just to see him come out to his music in a regular event? Does he get a promo? What does he get? What happens here? Or does he just kind of disappear suddenly? What happens?
Well, I'm automatically eliminating him from the Rumble surprise entrant.
I tend to agree.
Not only is he's medically cleared, but it would the people would boo the shit out of the Rumble when the eventual elimination of Angle happens.
Right.
Now, I've seen him on Instagram. He looks healthy. He's been wrestling on the indies. I've watched a couple matches with him against people like Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, he's still doing great, you know what I mean? So he can still wrestle, unlike when Bret Hart came back in 2000 something.
Yeah, nobody wants to remember that.
Yeah. I try to forget those Bret Hart memories back then.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
That was my all-time favorite wrestler when I first started watching wrestling.
And then he comes back you're like, oh no! 15 years too late, and we're just like, I don't want to see this.
I know. So where was I going with that?
So yeah.
So where do you go? Oh, so what do I think is going to happen?
Yeah,
he's got to be involved somehow in something,
right? He's got to have a match in him. He's never officially retired. You know, I know WWE tends to once guys retire in front of their audience, they tend to not let them wrestle again. It happened with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels retired. They never let him wrestle again.
Right.
Ric Flair retired. They never let him wrestle again, even though he went into TNA and continued to wrestle.
Right.
When he came back, they said, "No more. You retired in front of our audience." That never happened with Kurt Angle.
It's a different world now, too.
Yeah, and Kurt Angle never really had his real farewell with WWE. He just kind of packed his bags and left in 2006. So
yeah,
there's been
never got the send off.
Never got the proper send off. He was in ECW actually at the time when he was probably in line to become the ECW champion when he left.
He kind of went the CM Punk route where he was just facing a lot of nagging injuries, rightfully so. The guy needed neck surgery, guys need fucking pussy and whatever, and that badly.
Yeah,
that was a weird.
That was a weird one,
motherfucker. And Vince was like, I gotta work, I gotta be here. I was like, God, give him a fucking year off, for Christ's sake. You had great stars back then, why did you need Kurt Angle so badly? I understand in ECW you needed that big star, but
WWE should really consider doing
Kurt Angle's fault too.
They should really consider giving part-time schedules for their veterans more often. And I'm not talking about Undertaker and Triple H and Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. I'm talking about the guys who are wrestling every week and who are been in there for 10 years. So guys like Dolph Ziggler, give Ziggler a part-time schedule. So before they get to where Punk was and before they get to where Angle was, that they won't be burned out by the company. You know what I mean?
What Cena's basically doing now. What
Cena's doing.
Unofficially.
But they should...
No one's really saying it, but we know what it is.
Obviously, Cena's in the tail end of his career. I'm saying, they should start that... Implement that, as, a policy, early. Once you have, 10 years in your career, once you hit 10, then you should start being able to have, okay, I've been in the company for 10 years. Miz has been in the company for 10 years now. Give him some leeway now before he gets burned out. You never know. He could just, next year, his body could shut down for all we know.
Well, I know we've had a discussion. We brought it up, and we had a little time about it where, very early episode where I thought that I wish that in a perfect world that wrestling would be a season.
Yes, I totally agree.
Season finale of Raw, then maybe 3 months later, 2 months later. You don't have to wait a fucking year like Game of Thrones.
That's a fantastic idea.
You don't have to wait a year like Game of Thrones.
That's a fantastic idea, and I totally agree. And now that they have these,
give us a break too.
Right, give us a break, and then they have these separate shows too, where they could actually do it.
They actually could.
They could keep Raw on, and then have SmackDown on during its off season, and vice versa.
Right.
Or even if they don't want to do that, even if they want to have both Raw and SmackDown, they can have that and then have like the new United Kingdom division that they're going to make and the 205 Live, like that. Those could be their own shows during the off season. So there's technically no off season, but each set of performers get time off and time to recharge their batteries and just save their careers, add another 3 years to their career.
Right, and then like in another, like when 3 months or 4 months happens, whatever, in a hypothetical world, like let's say SmackDown comes back, now you're like, oh man, remember from the last one where Dolph Ziggler finally made that heel turn or whatever. Yeah. Like now you want to see what happens. Like what did they think? Or even if like they want to do something where like one of the SmackDown guys like makes an appearance, like a surprise appearance on Raw. You're like, oh my god, I haven't seen him in 5 months.
Right,
awesome, and like it just makes you miss that. It makes you intrigued more. Instead, it's like 24/7, and you're the only person around now. People like we have other companies, but they're not even close to comparatively. I'm surprised we haven't actually talked about this on the podcast before, but this is something you and me have talked about a lot, about having an off season in WWE. And it's something that doesn't get brought up a lot anymore. Like I remember there were talks about it 5-10 years ago, but nothing ever really. There was just like early discussions about it, but nothing ever took out. They never even really considered it, but like they talked about it, and I totally agree. Like it builds up anticipation for when it comes back, and it's the same thing. Like okay, look, I'm wearing an Islander jersey right now. Okay, they are a terrible franchise. Okay, they've had ups and downs, mostly downs, but every year during the off season, my confidence builds up, and I go, this is gonna be it, guys. I'm all in. And in October, when that season starts, I'm watching every game. I'm like, come on, shoot the puck! And then they lose.
And then they lose a lot.
Like I can't say I am kind of a de facto Islander fan because of you, but
thank you. Yeah. There's only 4 of us now. So we've almost got a row going.
Yes.
But that's the point I make, is that like even if it's terrible, I keep coming back once the next season starts, because there's that renewed energy of like, oh, this is going to be exciting. So I don't understand why they haven't even attempted even like a 2-week break at this point. Like I don't know, because
just take it.
There's so much. We talk about this a lot. There's so much wrestling on just the WWE thing.
I know.
Now with 205 Live, and now they're going to have supposedly a United Kingdom show on its own. Like, how much wrestling can I watch in a week? I love wrestling, but even I don't love it. I do not love it that much.
Right.
I don't love it that much.
I had to watch,
have a podcast, and I don't love it that much.
Like, I had to watch, like, this week, it's just, like, because, like, I just started my busy hours for work. Like, I had
an accountant, so we might start to lose him as
Fred fainted again.
In March, Fred's going to be like, accounting.
Fucking hate AJ Styles.
500s.
AJ Styles is overrated. I'll start saying crazy shit.
You guys say really negative stuff. Chris Jericho sucks.
I already did. I already wrote an angry post about fucking Jerry Lawler's fat gut on the air.
Well, that was just like, fuck this. That was totally merited. So I don't know where they go with Kurt Angle. I think he'll make an appearance on the Raw after WrestleMania. Cool. Kind of like what they normally do. Guy comes to promo. I don't know, maybe somebody interrupts him, like a Rusev, and that sets up like a first match, because Rusev, like the Bulgarian like brute thing, and like the whole anti-USA thing. I feel like that's like a natural matchup for him. But that's not a match I'd want to see, but I just feel like that's like an easy booking.
It's an easy booking. I mean, America versus Bulgaria, Russian communist, whatever.
Yeah.
I just get like nervous because, like, let's be honest here. Like, Kurt Angle's had as much as he had ups, he's had many downs.
Yes.
Over the last couple of years, DUIs, pain pill addictions,
right?
Many nagging injuries and stuff. And the guy will, like I said, will die in the ring probably if he wants to.
Yeah.
So, and then look at the fact that, like, even someone that is, I know he's older than him, but look at the Ultimate Warrior came back for the Hall of Fame. Then he makes his speech on Raw the very next night, and then the next day he died.
He did die.
And he didn't even wrestle. He didn't even run to the ring.
Yeah.
All he did was cut a speech.
That is still eerie. That is still very... That is still eerie to me to this day.
That's creepy as
fuck. I remember hearing the news the next day on Ron and Fez, actually, and it just... when I heard that, I was like,
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too. I was like, oh, he was on Raw last night. He just cut a promo. What are you talking about? He's dead?
Less than 24 hours, the guy croaks, you know what
Unbelievably sad.
You know, unbelievably sad. I mean, I'm glad he got the proper send-off. That's the thing.
I think
Kurt Angle gets the proper send-off here. I'm not going to say that's going to happen, deja vu, but, like, the guy, I think, is in worse shape health-wise than Ultimate Warrior.
I think as long as he wants to have a go at it, and
he definitely does.
As long as Vince is okay with it, I definitely think they're going to get at least 3 matches out of him. I want to go with 3, like kind of like Brock Lesnar, like spread him out over time, do the big pay-per-views, like I don't know what the first one would be.
He's always wanted to. He said he's always wanted to fight AJ Styles in a WWE ring. He's fought many times in TNA.
Right.
And dude, let's not like. I don't want to forget also the fact that Sting almost died against Seth Rollins in the ring.
Yeah.
Just from taking some weird bump.
Right.
He just took a bump. Like
it was the power bomb into the tournament.
Which
is a stupidly dangerous move, but yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, the dude is also close to Kurt Angle's age. Maybe he's older. He's older, but still, like if you think of like, you know,
he's up there.
You know, like he could have died that night for real. You know, and you know, I think I know the WWE is like very. You know, very cautious these days. Ever since the 2007, somebody died, killed himself.
Somebody killed himself. I don't know what you're talking about.
It rhymes with schmenoir. Get a shishmortion at the shishmortion clinic.
Memoir?
That's actually a good one.
Yeah. I think I still think he'll do something. I just feel it in my heart that like now that he's back, that like,
hey, what's up, Angela?
Hey, what's going on, Angela? We were just talking about
Triple A. Yeah, we were talking about.
We name dropped you before.
Yeah,
we were talking about watching
Armageddon 2002.
Armageddon 2002 at my house when Brock Lesnar versus Kurt
Angle versus Big Show.
Kurt Angle versus Big Show.
Yeah, and Triple H Shawn Michaels.
It's a random show that you and me ordered, so good times, man. So, do you have any dream opponents that you'd love to see him face? Besides like the obvious ones like Rusev, it's not, which isn't a dream match to me, but like,
right?
I'd love to see him versus Seth Rollins. I feel like that would be fucking sick.
That would always be good. I mean, that's a no-brainer for me. I'd like to see him. I know they've wrestled a lot, but I'd love to see him face Chris Jericho in his stage nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know how long Jericho's sticking around after Mania, though. I feel like this might be the end of his run here.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't.
It's too bad.
I think he's wrestling through WrestleMania season, and then he's probably going to disappear with his band again, like he usually does.
Come on.
I know.
I know he's your favorite wrestler of all time, but like he is my favorite wrestler now.
Right now,
pretty much. I mean. Yeah, I think I can't go. Like anytime Chris Jericho's on the screen, I have to watch him.
Yeah, because it's brilliant no matter what happens.
Yeah.
I can't really think of who else would be a top guy I'd want to see.
I'd love to see him against Sami Zayn.
Oh, that'd be fun.
You know,
that'd be a fun one.
I mean, even Kevin Owens, but like I think Sami Zayn match would be really good. I think he just like beat the shit out of Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn makes that underdog comeback that he does so well, and I think they'd put on a friggin' classic.
Maybe do something with American Alpha, like maybe be their manager. That'd be cool.
Could have that. Maybe like a 6-man tag. You can have,
like them versus Wyatts or something.
Kurt Angle and actually that would be like a nice little match.
Yeah, it'd be like random, but it'd be kind of cool.
Like a 20-minute SmackDown match, main event.
Yeah,
Kurt Angle, American Alpha versus the Wyatts if they're still around at that point, because a lot of tension's been building between them at the moment. Yeah, you know. So I don't know where we're going with that, but
I mean, so there's a lot of possibilities of what could happen with Kurt Angle. I just hope Finn Balor would be a great one.
That would be great.
There's a lot of great choices in the company now that just haven't.
Cesaro and Sheamus are just going to be in the Rumble, which is, you know, who knows? Maybe they'll, you know, mess each other up by accident or something like that. And looks like we might be back here.
I think we're back on the live.
We're back on the live feed, so that's cool. Other than that, so any new matches have been announced. Really, not too much. I mean,
nothing new. We haven't really talked about all of them. I mean, we knew Charlotte and Bayley were going to wrestle.
Going to wrestle. Thought Bayley and Charlotte cut a really good promo against each other.
Yes, they did.
This week on Raw, where you obviously you're going to have. They're now calling her Charlotte Flair, which thank you,
yeah,
WWE,
they
for coming to your senses.
Like, I hate that they don't use last names for most women.
They never do it.
I fucking hate that.
They like Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler were the only two I can like come off the top of my head
right now.
Trish Stratus, yeah.
But like, there's Trish Stratus
Mickie
versus
James. Okay, this is a lot
Lita.
more.
It's like
Lita,
like,
Jazz, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like stupid like Tori from DX, you know.
Yeah, Tori
or whatever.
That'll be a good match. Charlotte's gonna win. No, I don't even really want to. I don't
want to focus so much. Yeah, Charlotte's gonna win.
Yeah. So I like.
It's a buffer match.
So I'm having I don't know about you, Fred, but I'm having a real hard time trying to figure out who's going to win the Rumble this year.
Me too.
Because it's not clear like it normally is. Because there's like 2 or 3 names that are legit possible, and then there's always the chance that a surprise guy like a Finn Balor returning could win it, or my theory that Samoa Joe could win it, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like nothing has cleared up in the last couple weeks of the shows that has really pulled me one way or the other. If anything, they all kind of solidified my whole I don't fucking know what's going to happen stance. So, I don't know.
I'm going to go with saying that The Undertaker will not be winning the Royal Rumble.
I'm going to tend to agree with you.
I'm going to go with that. Originally, I thought there might have been a slight chance, but Undertaker's a name where you just need to have him on the card against somebody at WrestleMania and people will flip their shit. So
right, absolutely.
He doesn't need the title match, and nor I don't think really anyone really needs,
I don't think anybody wants to see a 50-year-old guy winning the Royal Rumble too. Like, it doesn't send a good message for the kids, and he already won one like 5 years ago or whatever. So,
Yeah, and let us not forget as well, but Undertaker's only maybe got 1 or 2 matches left in WrestleMania.
That's pretty much it.
Belt.
It'd be kind of a waste to throw a Royal Rumble on him when he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania anyway.
I see him being like a late entrant. I see him being on maybe 27, 30, keep him as as much capable, least capacity as possible. I really don't know. I mean, Seth Rollins, I see being out. I kind of had come up with a funny scenario in my head, which won't happen, but it would be hilarious. Because you got me thinking about when you were on your Twitter feed going over 2003 and 2004 Royal Rumble and all these funny things that would happen, Shannon Moore helping Matt Hardy and all that stuff.
That was great. That was great.
So I had this little fantasy scenario in my head where. Where maybe Jericho is, for some reason, still stuck up in the cage, and he can't get into the Royal Rumble, even though they announce his name. So the whole time, he's up in the shark cage while everyone's fighting. I think everyone would just flip his shit, so funny. And then eventually they get it to work, and he comes down, and, towards, the end, where there's, 4 or 5 people left.
That'd be great.
And people just lose their shit that they, rooting for Jericho to win. I don't know if he'd win, but, that would be hilarious.
That would be fucking great.
If Roman Reigns won and Kevin Owens got so mad at Jericho that he just left him up there and he just had to sit there the whole time. No, that's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
No, I love that idea.
It may distract everyone from the Royal Rumble itself. Whatever.
So you know how every year there's they have a different story they tell. The first entrance always wow, I can't believe he's first. They do it every year. One year it was Eddie Guerrero, one year it was Shawn Michaels, one year it was Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
They do it every year. It's ooh, somebody good is starting to run. And then sometimes 2 is really good also, and you're ooh. So, who are your picks? That's what I want to start off. Because I can't figure out who's going to win. I want to figure out the other parts of the Rumble that I know, that we can kind of figure out, who's going to be number 1 and who's going to be number 2 in the Rumble. I have a early prediction.
Right off the top of my head, I think it would be really cool if number 1 and 2 were Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, goddamn!
I was going to flip it around. I was going to say Rollins then Ambrose.
All right, I screwed you up there.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No,
I want us to have different answers, but
that's what I was going to go with. They always tend to do that. The year I went, they had it was Shawn Michaels was first, I believe, and then Undertaker was second. In 2008.
Oh, then was that the one with the last 2 at the end?
No, that was the year before.
Oh, okay.
But this was after their first WrestleMania match, so this was leading towards their second WrestleMania match.
Okay.
But that was a really good one, and they did a lot. One year, Shawn Michaels was first, Jericho was second, and that
that was good too.
That was a good one. So that's why I thought of that. I was like, I feel like it's going to be two guys who like used to be friends. Now every year there's a guy who has like a sleeper. He's like a sleeper, has a really good Royal Rumble, kind of out of nowhere. Like I
Roman Reigns.
Fred mentioned it before on Twitter before I was watching the 2002, 3, and 4 Royal Rumble and kind of live tweeting my thoughts on it and stuff. And I noticed every year they tend to do that. Like one guy kind of like out of nowhere has a really good Royal Rumble. 2003 was Chris Jericho. He like eliminated the most guys, and he like was in it for the longest amount of time, and nobody really thought he was going to do that. 2004 was Randy Orton, who kind of nobody thought he was the number 2 entrant against Benoit, and he lasted pretty much all the way until Mick Foley eliminated him.
Right.
So they tend to do this MVP for the early stages of it, where he gets a ton of eliminations and stuff. So who do you think is that guy? He's not going to win.
You go first. You go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I was going to say Cesaro. I was going to say Cesaro was going to be in there I want to say 5, and then they're going to just make him out of nowhere do really well for the Royal Rumble.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Who are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with The Miz.
That's a good one.
Go with The Miz. He fought AJ Styles this week on SmackDown, and now that he lost the Intercontinental Championship, you had also brought the fact that maybe that's a sign of him going... Uh-oh. You just... The shit siren on me?
No. I realized I didn't put it back on when we started.
Welcome everybody to ECW! I think that that could really build him up. If you think he's going to go to bigger and better things to the World Championship.
I totally agree.
What a better way.
That's a good one.
That or Baron Corbin, I think, will be.
Corbin would be a good one.
Will be maybe the Roman Reigns.
Right, that's what I was going to say. My segue into the next one.
Oh, sorry.
The dominant guy.
The dominant one.
Kane in 2001, Roman Reigns 2 years ago. The ones who eliminate 10 guys. Not really in the match a long time. They just come in and clean house type of guy.
Back in the day.
Diesel, yeah. Baron Corbin's a good one. I think the obvious one is Braun Strowman in that case.
Braun Strowman,
but
too.
There's a chance he could win, so I kind of don't know if I want to throw him in that. But Roman Reigns won that way, and so Braun Strowman is definitely that guy this year. He's going to eliminate a ton of guys. I don't know if Brock Lesnar and Goldberg will get that segment. There's a lot of guys that it could be. Corbin could do that. Goldberg could do that. Lesnar could do that. But I feel like Goldberg and Lesnar are going to just clash right away. They'll be maybe they're 1 and 2. That'd be interesting.
Because I'm thinking Goldberg's going to be later on in the Rumble.
Right.
Because like I said, he's an older guy.
Unless he's in it early and gets eliminated very quickly.
That's true. But you want to sometimes have those. I love those moments where just off the top of my head when the one Rumble CM Punk was in it, and then he got on the microphone and was I'm going to be the winner. Who's next? And then no one else would come. He'd eliminate him. Blah blah blah.
That was great.
I think that was maybe 2009 or 10 or something
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then finally maybe Kane or somebody like that, some big guy came out and then fucked them up or whatever.
That's a good one.
Interesting.
So, who do you think's going to be your comedy segment guy? There's always a guy who gets there. He either doesn't get in the match, either he holds onto the rope the whole time. Nunzio hit out one year. He just hit under the barricade.
Interesting.
Spike Dudley got beat up one year. He never even made it into the ring. There's always a guy like that. Hornswoggle didn't even climb into the ring at one point. He just was too scared.
Santino got eliminated in a second.
Yeah, right. Santino got eliminated in a second. So
the world
who's the comedy relief and what happens to him?
Man.
I'm going to go...
Well, I gave my theory already, the Jericho theory. I'm going way outside the box, but give me a second to think about that one.
I'm going to go with James Ellsworth is going to be your comedy one. It just makes sense. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe he eliminates somebody big, kind of like the Maven thing, and he just freaks out, and then whoever he eliminated kills him. Maybe have him eliminate Braun Strowman would be the best fucking thing ever. It would be amazing. And then Braun Strowman just fucking murders him outside the ring.
That would be awesome, actually. I'm looking at the list now, and I'm trying to think of a roster.
They have 18 names listed now, so we still have 12 more names unannounced. I'm sure they won't announce all of them. I'm sure we'll probably get a couple more next week. I'm assuming they'll have 7 spots open. That's usually about the amount they have.
Should think you'll figure you'll have Sami Zayn in there. That hasn't been announced.
Yeah, Sami Zayn's got to be in there. If Strowman's in there... Strowman's been in, and Sami Zayn's been on Raw a lot lately, so I'm assuming he'll be in it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have some qualifying matches on Raw and SmackDown this week. That would be cool. I love those. I love just getting one of those last spots that are available. So that'd be cool.
So what about we've talked about heavily that Samoa Joe would maybe make and it's been rumored that he may make his debut in the main roster on the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Any other people that you think from NXT? We've also brought up Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, Ty Dillinger
sounds
like he'll probably be in it.
I would love Bobby Roode. Just to hear his theme music.
That would be awesome.
And just to make a grandiose statement. Even if it's in for 5 minutes, I wouldn't even care.
Yeah, didn't Sami Zayn debut that way? He was in the Rumble, but then he wasn't technically called up yet by that time.
Ooh,
and then he had that open.
Foggy.
I think he was a surprise entrant as an NXT guy. So I think NXT, they're definitely going to do a couple NXT guys. They do that every year now.
Yeah, Rusev had made his debut.
Right, Rusev.
I'm
pretty sure Sami Zayn.
AJ Styles wasn't an NXT guy, but, made his debut there last year.
Joe just seems like a definite at this point too. He stopped wrestling the tapings at NXT, so he's only doing dark matches at NXT shows, tag team matches after the main event. So
he's a shoo-in.
Yeah, they're calling him up. If he's not on TV and he's still wrestling and he's not hurt, he's getting called up, and they're just saving him and making sure he doesn't get hurt for the before his main roster debut. So I'm gonna go with a 99% accuracy that Samoa Joe will be in it. I'm pretty confident he might win it too as a surprise one, which would be amazing. But still a stretch at this point.
I think that. But
it's also because
it'd be cool.
It's also because I just don't see any clear winners right now in our field that we have here.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, this is a good Rumble because you don't really know. Sometimes it's just very predictable. This year, this year at least till. Going into the last week before the Rumble, I just don't know.
Much due respect to Rey Mysterio to his contributions. You kind of knew that since the passing of Eddie Guerrero that he was going to win the Rumble,
right,
and probably win the title at WrestleMania that one year, which he did. So that's they always kind of lean towards somebody, in that factor. This reminds me of very back in the Attitude Era, where you had guys like Triple H, Jericho, Stone Cold, Rock, the old Kane, all these big names that would show up, and at the very end, you wouldn't know who would win,
right.
You pretty much knew who was going to lose, but
a lot of my I've torn between my predictions for the Royal Rumble a lot the last couple weeks. So as you know, I've said Samoa Joe a few times. I've thrown out Braun Strowman as a very, very likely possibility. Mm-hmm. Goldberg is unlikely, but it's still possible. They love that old school feel to things. Batista won it 2 years ago, guys. So it's not that far in the realm of possibilities. Undertaker could win it. Ziggler could technically win it. He probably won't be, but Miz could win it. Miz could definitely win it.
Yeah.
Maybe this is Bray Wyatt's final moment. Maybe this is the final time they put over Bray Wyatt. I don't know, but there's the reason I've kind of jumped around is because now that I've been watching these older Royal Rumbles and I see these patterns from year to year, and I watched 4 Royal Rumbles in the last 2 days. I watched 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2004. And
2001 was a good one.
And 2001 was the best one. That's my favorite one.
I loved it.
And then I started...
Chris Schneck from... Will Kenny Omega be a surprise? I
don't know.
I was hearing... dirt sheets have been saying that he's supposed to be in Chile that day, which would make it literally impossible for him to be there. But that could also be the biggest swerve.
That could be a swerve,
So, do I think so? I don't think he's going to be in it. I think the main big guy, this surprise, is going to be Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, yeah.
Yeah, I would love Kenny Omega to be there, but
especially if they want to.
I don't know what's going on.
If they want to make Joe the big star coming into the thing, as a surprise entrant, if they put Kenny Omega in there, that would just kind of
wipe it out.
That would deflate it because he's been in WWE for so long now. So to have somebody even bigger and this big name make this great debut, kind of ruin it for Joe almost, who's already been there for a while and earned his due.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he'll be in it, but he'll.
Sorry, Schneck, but we don't agree with you. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for the question, though. Appreciate it. We don't really get many questions on here.
No, I know them, by the way.
Oh, come on! Can we get a random person on here? I'm just kidding.
He's an Islander fan, too.
So it's 5. There we go.
5. We have 5 followers who are all my friends. And none of them are watching it now except for one.
If you want to bring up more questions, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. So we have...
There's one question I won't answer.
Oh, God.
But no, we won't go into that either.
No, we're not going to.
Okay.
Because I'm just not going to I'm not going to discuss this anymore.
Okay.
I'm over talking about it.
Like, what do you mean, like, it? Like, what does that mean?
No, not it. Like, just it. The whole collective it. Not it, the thing that might be a little off. The whole thing. No, we're not getting into it. We're not getting into this.
Okay.
We're not getting into this.
Alright, fine. Alright. Anyway, so the Royal Rumble is gonna be interesting this year, you know. I am straight, and it's gonna be great, though.
Fuck!
Yeah, like... Well, no, don't give me the shit. The shit siren!
No! Not the shit siren. Oh my god, we lost all control.
That's the first time we did that live, actually.
We used to do that a lot more. There was no visual aspect. So I guess nobody could see us.
Being gay. We're looking at each other in the face. It's so stupid. I know.
Yeah, so what else you got on the docket? I don't really have much more. That's really all I wanted to talk about. We're approaching the hour mark of the podcast. Any other thoughts you want to throw out there?
No. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I wanted to talk about something wretched I caught. And it's not Jerry the King Lawler. It's something else, like this horrible Nikki Bella feud that has been continuing God. And now this week, Natty was upset. Okay, she was upset because Nikki Bella has a lot of merchandise.
Yeah.
And Natalya doesn't have any.
I don't know why.
And rightfully so.
I don't know why, but
And then she started ripping the shirts off the fucking desk, and then Nikki Bella just happened to walk out and be like, "What are you doing to my shirts?" And they brawled in the fucking in the hallway of the arena.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, are we really fighting over merchandise? Like, really? Is this where the feud's going? This is stupid.
I kind of liked it because it was so stupid. I didn't want to like.
It was so bad. It was good.
Right. It was kind of one of those. It's so bad. It's good. Like it was there. It was there. I don't know. I like that they were like fighting backstage, like with the fans were watching it. And, like I laughed really loud when Nikki tackled Natalya and they jumped up onto a table and the table just collapsed and it made a really loud fucking noise like boom! And they were like, I was like, holy shit, that looked painful. It was like a really high table and like the thing was like,
it would be cool if like I would have like if I was out there and like watching them, I would have been like, nice ass Nikki or whatever, like just like totally shitting on it. Yeah, big knockers. I know it's not Brie because she has big knockers. I can tell you apart because of those. I love that was like the running gag of like the internet world was like,
which one's Nikki? Which one's Bella? The one with big tits is Nikki.
You know, look, 5 inches down from her chin, you'll find it.
Yeah, so I don't really have much more to talk about. Again, not as we said, like not a lot of. Nothing has really solidified going into the Royal Rumble with the main guys into it. Like nothing, no clear winner has emerged, no clear loser has emerged. Really, it really seems up in the air at this point.
Which I like.
Me too. We have one more week left, so that could definitely change.
Yes.
So we'll have to see what happens on Raw and SmackDown this week. I think I'm going to wrap this up for us now. If you guys are not following us on Twitter, please get on that. You can follow Craig talking about the past Royal Rumbles. I'm sure I'll be talking about the 2005 and 2006 Royal Rumbles tomorrow.
You mean I was watching the 2009? Oh, I only watched a little bit so far of the Royal Rumble. When I saw your Twitter feed, I'm not gonna comment on it on Twitter, but like
you can do it on Twitter too. I mean, we both
boring,
have honestly. Anyway, so if you're not following us on the Twitter, you're missing out on some great stupid content that I'm throwing out there. So it's at Wretched Wrestle. If you're not following us on the Facebook, you are missing us on Facebook Live, and fuck you for doing that.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
So we have our Facebook Live going out every week, usually Friday or Saturday nights. Look for us late at night. That's when we're recording these podcast episodes. But if you're not on our Facebook page and you're just listening on the podcast, then you can check us out at Wretched Wrestling on Facebook. And if you're just only tuning in here on the Facebook Live or YouTube, you can check us out on iTunes and Google Play and Podomac. Just any of your regular podcasting apps. So
if you can also if you could like subscribe to our YouTube channel, that'd be like really
absolutely.
nice. You know?
Give us some reviews. We'd love to hear some feedback, guys.
Even if you shit on us, I don't even care.
Yeah. We'd like some constructive criticism. I know we're kind of like a joke, so we kind of goof around most of the time here, but we'd love any kind of reviews you can. Please rate and review our iTunes page as well.
Yeah.
Fred, sing your goddamn song.
We love wrestling. Fuck you, shit siren.
It's a shit siren, Randy.
But Mr. Leahy, what are we gonna do with that shit siren?
We're gonna get you acting lessons, Ricky. Ricky. What am I saying?
No, my name's Randy.
I've had a little too much of the bubbly tonight.
Too many drinky poos, Mr. Leahy.
I am the liquor.
Oh, horsecock!
Alright, guys, that'll do it for us this week. We'll be back next week with our big Royal Rumble preview edition where we'll make our predictions and analysis. We'll see you here next week on the Wretched Wrestling Podcast. I'm Craig Dixon.
And I'm Red Robinson.
Peace out, motherfucker!
Pass that blunt to the...
You gotta do this. I'm down like a clown, Charlie. I love ending the episode in such stupid manners. Okay, guys.
And for our Facebook Live people,
we're fucking losers.
We're cool like a school.
We're cool like a smooth. I'm down like a clown, Charlie. I'm down like a clown, Charlie. I'm down like a clown, Charlie. Brown.
And we have one Facebook follower left, which is me.
And me.
Anyway, good episode, and I can't believe we survived that one. So let's end this biatch.
Alright, guys, we'll see you next week.